Wealth Wednesday, and we're joined by our friend, private wealth advisor Will Rogers, to talk about how to prepare for a baby coming into your world, something our very own Riley Hale experienced back in June. In addition to assembling the crib and making sure you have enough bottles on hand, you should anticipate a few financial considerations, and that's why we have our friend Will here, who is now here via Zoom. Hello, Will. How are you doing?
Hey, good morning. I'm doing really good. Riley, I hope parenthood is going great for you. Expenses are a real deal, but yeah, it's something that we're here to talk about, and I'm glad to share wisdom on it.
That's right. And Will, one of the first expenses working couples think of is childcare. What else should they expect?
It's a big expense with childcare. The annual cost in 2022 averaged $10,853 a year. That's almost $1,000 a month. That's roughly 10% of the average married couple's yearly income, and it's a third for single parents. So childcare is it's a hefty expense.
And you and I both have kids, so we know this, but what other costs just hit you immediately?
There's a lot of lifestyle costs, and some of them are kind of obvious: diapers, formula clothes, the necessities. Now, these can be expensive, but with some of the necessities like clothes and so forth, there's a lot of secondhand clothing stores that I know our daughter Blair is getting outfits for our granddaughters for like 50 cents each. So there's some real options where you don't need to buy things brand new. But then you look at some of the other activities like extracurricular for toddlers to teens. I don't care if it's sports, music, performing arts, those activities, they get expensive kind of around 4 or 5, and they keep getting expensive until the child's launched. Something a lot of folks don't think about, especially right now, is a bigger house. With the higher interest rates today, not only are you buying more square footage, but now you've got a higher cost to buy that square footage. So it's a double whammy that could really hit the budget. And to a lesser degree, if you're getting the bigger car, if you need something that's easy to get the car seat in and out of, that little two-door, it's kind of hard. I remember with our daughter Katie, we had a hatchback, and we love that car, but reaching in the back seat for the baby seat, we're like, no, we need a 4-door car. So those are all real things.
Sacrifices you have to make.
Right, and some things you might not think about until you're in a situation, right? Something else you may not think about, your baby will one day not be a baby anymore, and they're probably getting ready to pursue higher education. When should parents start preparing for college?
I think you should probably start preparing for your child's college education while you're in college. No, just kidding, but not kidding. Really,
He's really not kidding. He's really not kidding.
Hey, the sooner you can start, the easier it will be. And as you're looking at stuff, look for tax benefits. It'll be the 529 plan, or my personal favorite for college is the Roth IRA. 20 years from now, we don't know what education will look like. The provisions of the Roth IRA allow you to take it out for higher education, but if it's not needed, that just became more fuel for your own retirement. So that's one of the big reasons I love the Roth IRA.
Speaking of retirement, we're talking about, planning finances for your children. What about yourself during this time?
As you've got a new life in this world, remember, unexpected events can affect not just your finances, but your family finances at any time. So you're really going to want to have that emergency fund built up, extra money that you've got for just the what ifs. And you need to prioritize your retirement savings. We were just talking about college funding, but you can get student loans. I've yet to see somebody get a retirement loan. So make sure you're taking care of yourself first. And then you also want to make sure you update your estate plan and your insurance coverage.
And Will, when is it a good time to talk to your child about money?
Early. And I want to draw a big line on here. There should be a difference between an allowance and wages. An allowance is to teach them budgeting tools. It is not to pay them for doing the laundry or dishes or cutting the grass. Really, truly is part of the household. I set that expectation with my kids. Hey, you're here. You need to contribute. These are the things you need to do. They were not connected in any way to the money that I gave them, and giving them as much control as possible as age appropriate. that means giving them enough that they might blow some of that money. Well, when my kids were freshmen in high school, they had checkbooks and credit cards, and they had very small limits. But when there was stuff that they needed to get at school, they didn't come home and say, Mom, Dad, we need, $20 for the yearbook or whatever, $100 for the yearbook. They had their budget, their resources, and they did very well. But it's because they had actual money and they had control of it that they learned how to use it.
All right, all good points to take stock in. Will, his information here on the screen right now. Will Rogers joining us here via Zoom. Thanks so much for all this info, and we'll see you next week, all right?
Yes, see you then.